So our product is called Auction Simplified, and it's broken up into 5 separate products within that main product. So the first one is digital only. We'll talk a lot about this in a minute, but it is a great way to just get your wholesale cars on our site with very little heavy lifting and allowing buyers to make offers on those cars. The second is what's called silent auction. Very common in the industry. These are what's traditionally called a bid sale, which allows bidders to view cars online and bid on those cars silently. Nobody knows who the bidder is until the end of the auction, and then they can even change their bids as they think about it over the course of the period of time that the auction is running. Open bid is the traditional style auction that we all know and love. Things like eBay use open bidding. So basically in this case, you have bidders going back and forth, including proxy bidders, all the way through the end of the auction period. And I'll go over that in detail in a minute. Broadcast appraisal is a high-speed way to get appraisals on a car from your favorite wholesalers in your marketplace. And then overnight if sale auction is when you've taken a customer out of a car for an overnight test drive or maybe a weekend test drive, and you want to try to get the most money for their trade while they're driving your car. So again, digital only is a non-auction. Basically, it's a place where you post your cars online and bidders can make offers on those cars. Now, I recommend that every dealer does this because it means that your entire used car inventory is available to your entire wholesaler database, which is pretty substantial. Our database in a particular town is typically 200 to 300 wholesalers, independents, and then of course you get your nationals and so forth. So you may say, well, I put a lot of effort into getting that car on my lot. I don't want to just sell it to a wholesaler. And my answer is, why not if the profit is there? So you may get low bids and you just have to cancel those or deny those. But for the most part, there's people out there looking to buy specific cars for specific customers. And many of them use our site as a float, if you will, a way to find cars for their buyers so they don't have to stock as many on their own lot. So having this great resource of digital only is a place that they go to. It's a destination that they go to look for cars, which is great. So let's say you have that nice used Honda and you own it for $5,000. If you get a bid for 55 or 58 or 6,000, wouldn't you take it? And just because you have it for a certain number doesn't mean that number is low in other markets. Now, full online auction is just as it sounds. That's the either silent auction or bid sale, or a full open auction where the bidders can go back and forth online. Now, one of the things that make a full online auction valuable to you is the idea of having an inspection day or viewing day. A viewing day basically means you keep all your cars in one location and allow wholesalers to come in on a specific date and time to view those cars in advance of bidding. Not every buyer will bid on a car strictly online. A lot will, but if you allow them to drive the car or even look at the car using their own plates and their own, obviously their own liability, you will increase the value of your cars by quite a bit. And let's just think about it. A car that's $500 that sells for $7 because of an online auction and a viewing day that's a 40% improvement in profit. So don't be afraid to do a little extra for the wholesalers to get the most for the car. And our final type of auction is what we call pre-sale, post-sale. This is really for dealers who already have some sort of an auction running at their dealership and they want to advertise their cars on our site prior to their auction day. And for the cars that don't sell, they post-sale them on our site with a full online auction. It's really the best of all worlds. So if you go on our website, Auction Simplified, you'll see this chart. It's a little hard to read on here. It's a little easier online, but you'll see the differences between the 3 auctions and the different sell rates for each kind. So as I've said before, there's 3 transaction styles: make an offer, silent bid or silent auction, and open bidding with make an offer. So those are the 3 main ways you can run your dealership wholesale marketplace. Many dealers, as I said, around the country use our marketplace as a place to search for cars for customers that are looking for specific cars. Buyers like it because they get bargains sometimes online, and sellers like it because they don't have to move the car. However, The big reason is you don't pay any seller's fees. Our whole software is based on no seller fees. In fact, the seller pays nothing to use our software completely. There's no setup charges or anything like that. And buyers, the fees are very, very small. Silent bid, the advantages are that you get high bids that nobody would ever have achieved in a traditional auction. For example, on a silent bid, a person might bid $5,000 and the next bidders are all in the fours, where if they were doing a traditional bid where people are bidding up, that same bidder would never have reached that $5,000 because he would have saw somebody at 4, would have went to 41, and the auction would have ended. So that's the advantage. I think it's a good style of auction. So open bidding, again, the advantages of this is the sellers like it because it's a bidding battle between buyers, and sometimes that really gets into a frenzy and sends the prices through the roof, a little different than silent sale. Buyers like it because they can find bargains, bid low, and so forth. Again, all of our auction styles, all three, have no seller's fees at all. And the buyer's fees are very, very small. Our software is built to work with today's style wholesalers. We have obviously online and even iPad apps and phone apps that work beautifully for the consumer. Buyers typically will come to your viewing day and bid right from their phone, which is something that we encourage. So let's talk about our appraisal tools for a moment. We have two very powerful appraisal tools. The first one is called Broadcast Appraisal, and the second is Overnight Appraisal. Let me go into those in detail. So Broadcast Appraisal, we like to call an if sale on steroids. So here's how you would normally operate. You have a customer that will not take your appraisal. You've tried to put a deal together for quite a while and they're saying their car is worth quite a bit more. Or for some reason, you're just unsure, even with all the tools we have today, of what we could possibly get for a certain car. So usually what the used car manager will do is he will call his team of wholesalers and try to get a better appraisal. Now, a team of wholesalers usually consists of 2 or 3 people, and then you run out of energy because it takes time to call them, get them on the phone, and describe the car each time. What would happen if you could have the appraisal process be done in your normal appraisal tool like vAuto and have it push out to 10 or 15 of your select wholesalers at one spot? And that's really what broadcast appraisal is all about. So the broadcast appraisal goes out to all your buyers at once. They have between 10 and 30 minutes to respond depending on really your settings, but it is also depending on the patience of the consumer that's sitting there waiting for the appraisal to happen. Only winning bidders get notified if they win the car. So, for example, if somebody appraised the car and gave you, that 5250, like I have in the description here, and that's the winning number, and you were at $4,000, maybe you'll go ahead and sell that car to him. So he would be the person that would, or she would be the person that would get notified. Buyers are notified when the car comes in by clicking a little button, and you can create multiple buyer groups for different types of vehicles. But for the most part, you've got your 10 favorites. A couple of things is you do not have to have anybody you don't want on your appraisal process, which is great. You certainly don't want your competing dealer to know you're appraising a car. And again, no seller's fees. In this case, the buyer would pay the fee. They'd pay the $52.50 plus our fee, and you would pay the fee directly to us after we bill you at the end of the month. Overnight appraisal, same idea, except it goes out to a larger group. Again, you can exclude the buyers you don't want, and you can pick the buyers you want. So for the most part, what you would do is you would let anybody bid on the car except for the people you don't want. So your local competing dealer or the dealer that's 2 doors down from you. It's because you don't want them to know about a potential trade that you have coming in. But the same concept, the difference here is overnight appraisal is designed for people that you've taken out of their trade for the night and have them out test driving your car for the night. Those types of customers you have a little bit more time with for the appraisal. So we've talked about all of our tools. Let's talk about how we merchandise you as a company to the world. So here's an example of our landing page that we create for each dealer. And you can see there's a countdown timer at the top for when the auction ends. They have a very nice little explanation of what their auction's all about. We even, in some cases, will shoot a video of their viewing day or their inspection day so people can kind of get a feel for what it looks like. Now, the result of having these pages is you get found. We are very good as a company at SEO and search engine marketing. So you can see when you search for the Galt Auto Group auction, they were first, second, and third place. And you can see even when I search just for wholesale auctions in their marketplace, really the only company that's there besides them is an advertisement for an existing auction. We also merchandise to our members, so people that have joined our network, and we have hundreds and hundreds of wholesalers already on our network. As they join, we merchandise your auctions to them through maps, so they know where the auctions are today, through AutoNeek, which is an auction appraisal tool that many wholesalers use, especially the real high-end guys. Then your auction is listed on the side of our website, including by city and state. And we have, of course, your cars listed with photographs and all the descriptions and everything that you have. We have a phenomenal condition report, and I say that because it is super easy to use, takes less than 5 minutes, it's 24 total questions, and the big thing is it defaults to the words seems okay, not it's perfect, not great, not even the word okay, because okay to me means okay. Seems okay means that, hey, based on our cursory 5-minute inspection, it looks like it's okay. The reason I say that's important is because this is an as-is auction with local delivery. So if that's the case, you don't really want to get into over-promising anything. And you can see you can focus on the negatives, like this one here. It says the navigation is inoperable, or it's got a dent in the front bumper, that kind of thing. It looks like the window is pitted. So those are the kinds of things that you can do on our condition report. And again, all of this can be done from a phone. So if you have a respectable lot kid that you're comfortable having him do or her do the appraisals, you can just have them do it right from their iPhone or from their Android phone. So every auction has its own rules, and this is an example of rules at one of our auctions. Simple things like how to bid and who pays, and how soon can I pick up the car. How we attract buyers is really quite simple. We target the market that you're in. We send invitations, and we call or visit those independent dealers and wholesalers in that marketplace. And in many cases, we'll follow up with a postcard to make sure that they come to your auction. So we invite. And you can see in these examples, we picked a target. This is the flyer that we handed out as we went around to those 400 or so wholesalers within a 50-mile radius of that dealer. And then we sent a postcard out to merchandise. And then we teach your BDC how to make calls after we're done, because we start you off, get you kicked off, and then after that it's your auction, so it's up to you to keep bringing people back. And we kick in every so often with broadcast emails and so forth for your marketplace. Retaining buyers is just as important as getting them, so we spend a lot of time really love bombing our wholesalers. We walk them through the process of registration. We handhold them how to use our product. We have staggered training emails that go out that explain how to use our tools. We have video walkthroughs that are very robust, and we have really great support. We have instant human answering the phone almost every time, unless we're absolutely bogged down, it's instant human. So last but not least, again, this product is free to dealers. We looked at companies like Route 1 and DealerTrack who came to the market with free software because they were able to make somebody else pay. The dealer should not have to pay to use an auction software. So we have no seller fees. We have no setup fee, no software cost. You own the auction. This is really yours. So your merchandising and marketing can all be for yourself. So buyers pay the fee. An example, if we sold a $10,000 car, the fee would be $120. Our most expensive fee is $120. So what happens is the customer would come in to pick up the car, the buyer would come in to pick up the car, and he would pay you $10,120. We allow you to keep $20 of the fee. The reason for that is we know you need an extra billing clerk maybe, or a lot kid to manage the lot while the auction is running. So we like to just give you a little money to offset that fee. We would send you a bill at the end of the month for $100 for that transaction. If you do 20 of them, we'd send you a bill for 20 fees. But you've collected it from the buyer, so in the end, you are not paying anything for the cost of running your auction. So that is Auction Simplified. I really thank you very, very much for your time. We should always be looking for ways to lower expenses and improve profit, and I think Auction Simplified by Dealer Simplified is a great tool for that. Thanks very much for watching.